Welcome to Lightworkers Unite, a sacred space for seekers, healers, creatives, and lightworkers.
We're your hosts, Mayume and Manjeet, and we're here to remind you who you truly are, light in human form.
Together, we explore spirituality, healing, intuition, purpose, and the magic of being alive in this extraordinary time. So take a deep breath, open your heart,
and let's walk this journey together. Hello, Lightworkers. Welcome to Lightworkers Unite. We're so excited to have you, and we're so excited to have our beautiful friend and fellow Lightworker, Emily Brown.
Hello, Emily.
Yes, with Human Design. Actually, the name of your company is, Emily?
Vivid Soul Sessions.
That's right. I love that.
And it uses the quantum human design trademark formula. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we are so happy to have you. This is so awesome. So we just have to say, what a fucking nightmare to get here.
Yeah, we just have to acknowledge that we had massive technical difficulties, everybody. So hopefully this is all going to translate just beautifully for everyone.
I know, and we just really wanted to thank you, sweet Emily, for all of the kerfuffling.
Sure.
We were on, off, and we just actually did a clearing, an energetic clearing with beautiful Archangel Michael. Maybe walked us through that, just so that we could be clear and present. So we're just so excited that this is happening. So we apologize that we're running a little bit behind, but this is going to be fantastic.
It will be. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited because we had a wonderful experience with you with the human design, and so that was something that we thought the world really needs to hear more about this, hear more about you, because I really enjoyed your delivery and the way you deliver the information, and you really connect in a really positive way. And though again, you don't elicit fear in anyone, because you could, right, with this stuff. So can you tell us a little bit? Well, I wanted to read her bio, right?
Yes,
Manjeet,
let's do that. Absolutely.
So that everyone knows exactly who she is and what we're talking about. Do you have that hand? I was just going to go grab it because of all the technical difficulties. I didn't have it up and ready.
Yes. No, I don't have it handy.
Oh, okay. I'm pulling it up right now. But in the meantime, I would love if you could please chat to the people and tell what is human design. Let's start with that.
That's what I wanted to actually, because I really had no clue. Like when I heard about the human design, I mean, I'm absolutely fascinated with chakras. Obviously, I'm a chakra coach as well, but I didn't understand. I know that there are chakra systems in the quantum design. So yes, what is human design?
Sure. I will, and that's kind of what I had put in the bio anyway. So we can just cover that with this.
Let's just cover it. Thank you.
Yeah. So what I believe that before we incarnate on Earth, that our souls design or like architect a blueprint for us to follow on Earth. And so think of it as like a map of how like to really live your most authentic, like genuine life as your unique self. Because obviously we're conditioned by so many things: our culture, our society, our families, our friends, our education, our politics, like everything is conditioning us. And so I just believe that before we incarnate on Earth, we've designed this kind of like soul curriculum or blueprint for ourselves. And so the human design chart then, and it is generated from your birth date, your birth place and time. And it really contains like your key characteristics for personality, the best way for you to make decisions, the best way for you to maybe move through emotions or move through fears, to really understand your relationship needs, and then also just to kind of like work with your strengths and your challenges. And so the charts show how your energy not only was designed to move like through your own body, but then also how you interface with others and the quantum field, which just means then your connection with everyone else out in the world. And when I found human design, what I liked about it is that it's equal parts like mystical and practical. So it combines the ancient wisdom from the Chinese I Ching, the Judaic Kabbalah, Eastern and Western astrology, the Hindu chakra system, with quantum physics. So you have kind of like this intersection of science and spirituality. And and so that's why I kind of fell in love with it, because as soon as I saw my chart, it just helped me understand myself so much more.
Mm.
And it honestly, it made me fall in love with myself in a way that I
No,
I
I love
didn't
that.
before. Because there were things, I feel like there are things that you see in your chart that maybe are things that you've always thought of as a weakness. And then you realize how no, like if you look at them differently, you can see where they're really a strength. But I think because we've been conditioned, perfect example is that in my chart, I am designed to kind of like jump around from like projects to projects, from different things to different things. And I'm not always meant to finish everything that I start, because a lot of times something that I start is just getting me inspired and excited for the next thing that I'm going to start that is actually going to be the idea that I bring into fruition. But that first one was what I had to start to kind of get there. And so growing up, though, I did a lot of that. And just how I've been conditioned is that by bouncing around and not finishing things, I felt flighty, especially with having the blonde hair. It was like, oh, dumb blonde flighty. And that's what I like, that conditioning is what I took into like, gosh,
You started
why
to
can't I
label
start?
yourself. You started
I
this belief
did.
of yourself. Wow.
Exactly. And so that was something that really helped me understand like, no, that's how I'm designed. I need to stop looking
Designed.
at
I
it
like
that
that.
way. Yeah, so it just helped me see things about myself in such a different way. And it started out as just something of like, oh, I'm interested in learning more about myself. And so it was just, I was gobbling up every piece of information I could find online. And then quickly I realized I need to get certified in this. But it still was just going to be, I want to get certified so I can read my chart, so I can understand my husband better, so I can understand my kids better. And then before long, I realized, oh, now I want to talk to my friends. And now, and it just kind of started branching out to where I
Love it.
realized, oh, I need to do this now. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, I love.
So was high school really hard for you in like university if you're like picking a major? Like I'm just thinking about our young people now, like
yes. So I
understanding
changed
that.
my major 5 times,
Okay.
5 times. And it even got to the point where I would just ask people, like I was asking my friends, like, what's your major? Okay, well, what is that about? Like, maybe I want to do that. Um, because I just kind of didn't really have a sense of what felt like my own direction, which now I realize is also in my chart. But I looked at it then again as like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have a direction. I don't know who I am. It's like I almost didn't have a sense of self. I knew what I liked, but I didn't really know where I was going. And so I was kind of relying on other people to help me there. But now I realize like being that open to everyone else's direction helps me understand people so much more, makes me more empathetic. Like I've learned a lot about a variety of things by then seeing so much in other people and understanding what other people do. So now I really do see it as a strength. And I feel like probably it was around my 30s where I started understanding more of myself, because I just think as we get older, obviously we gain wisdom and we just start to understand ourselves better. And we start to realize things that we're trying to change about ourselves, like, well, this is not changing. So clearly I just need to figure out how to work with it.
When I'm thinking about that with respect to children, like younger people, I'm thinking about your clients, right? Like if I'm thinking about our younger Mayume and I have, kids in university and going into the workforce and if they are feeling that way too, like why can't I focus on what I want to do? Maybe do you think it would have been helpful for them to know this human design, like for you to know this earlier? Would that have served you?
I say all the time, yes, I say all the time, if I would have known this when I was younger, I feel like
Yeah.
my college years and my 20s would have definitely been easier for me. Or maybe I just wouldn't have felt as much uncertainty, possibly. Like I would have trusted myself more. I would say some of my favorite clients are teenagers.
Love
And
that.
honestly, like teenage boys have been some of my favorite clients.
No
And they've been
way.
so much more open than I expected.
Ah,
When I first started this, if you would have told me I was going to be doing a reading for a
I
17-year-old
know.
boy, I would have thought, no 17-year-old boys are going to be into this.
I love
But
that.
people love learning about themselves,
Yeah.
and so they have been some of my absolute favorite clients, I will say.
I love that. I love that so much. That's so great. Yeah. And when this all going back, like when did this start for you? Like when did it all kind of open up this whole path and kind of, digging into the soul?
So I am not one who really had anything in my childhood where, like, I'm not a person who ever saw spirits or ever had anything mystical happen. Like, that just wasn't who I was. I always was really interested in what more is out there. I remember when the movie Space Camp came out when I was in 6th grade, and I watched that movie and I was like, I need to go to space camp. That is what I need to do. And then I found out, like, you have
That's
to
so
be
cute.
really good. And I found out you have to be really good at math and science. So then I was like, oh, I'm not going to space camp.
Oh,
Yeah.
darn
But
it.
I remember watching that movie so many times. But so I was always interested in, like, what else is out there? What else is out beyond? And then and I grew up in Oklahoma. And so it was when I think I was a sophomore in college. A friend gave me the book, The Celestine Prophecy, to read. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book.
It's a great
Heard
book.
of it. I
At
Yes.
haven't
this
read
point
it.
right now, I don't even, it was so long ago, I don't even really remember everything
Oh,
that the book
wow.
is about, but it was my first introduction into the metaphysical. And I can just remember staying up very late, like reading under my covers with a flashlight so I wouldn't disturb my roommate, trying to see my aura around my hand. And just,
Yes.
it
I love
That's
was
it.
so
the
cool.
first thing that really expanded my mind to wait.
There
There are
might be
other
something.
things out
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
And but then again, this was 1994. I was in a small town in Oklahoma. So there's no Amazon, there's no internet yet. There are no metaphysical bookstores there. And I didn't know other people who were interested in this. So it was just like, oh, that was a great book. And then now it's kind of back to just regular life. And then it wasn't until 2006 when my son was born. I just remember, like, as soon as he was placed in my arms and I looked down at him, my first thought was, oh, I remember you. Like, I know you. And that was such a strange thought to me because, like, reincarnation was not anything that was even, it's not that I didn't believe in it. I wasn't even conscious of it. That wasn't a term I had heard. That was like, I grew up in a Christian church. So that was not anything that I was familiar with at all. And so having that thought was like, well, that's strange. But then I thought, well, I mean, I've been carrying him for 9 months. Of course, I have a connection to him. And then when he was about 3 or 4 years old, it's like I just had this thought of looking at him. My thought was, oh, you used to be my parent, but now I'm your parent. And that again was like, okay, where did that thought come from?
Wow.
You
Yeah,
know?
Wild.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's very
S-
quantum. Very
yeah,
like, right, it's a very past life, generational,
exactly.
ancestral energy. That's
Right.
pretty powerful. Yeah.
And it was the thought was very subtle. So I could have easily just had the thought and then moved on. But because it was so different from how I thought at that time, I just remember it sticking with me like, well, that's strange. I wonder if that's even possible. And then I got extremely obsessed with near death experience stories. I mean, I've probably read 1,000 near death experience stories at this point. I got obsessed with
Fascinating.
those.
Yes.
So then
Mhm.
it just kind of around 2006 is where it just led into more and more. And then when my daughter was born in 2009, that just also opened me up. I think childbirth is a huge awakening for a lot of women.
It's a portal.
Um,
It's a
It
it
is.
gateway
is.
for
It
sure.
is a
Yeah.
portal. And I also, for both of my children, I did natural childbirth. So I just, whew,
Wow.
you have to be so present in it in order to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and
Yeah.
honestly, the reason why I did it was just simply because the thought of needles is not something that I love. And so it wasn't even so much I'm going to try to see if I can do this. It was more of I really don't want to have any needles in me. So let's just see if I can do this so I don't have to have needles in me. And so I do think that just made me be so present, which then
It's
that
just a
whole
natural way
experience,
to do it, to be honest
I
with you.
realized
Yeah.
how powerful I was through both of those childbirths. Made me realize, oh, I'm very powerful because it was painful. It definitely, I'm not going to say it was not painful. It was, but I realized I can do this.
Is that part of your chart? Is that in your chart, like, that you want to do things on your own terms, things that are like, in your own way, learning at your own speed, Is that part of it?
I would say what's more in my chart is that I'm very excited about the unknown. Like that's exciting to
Got it.
me.
Got
So
it.
if
I see
it's
the
a
correlation there then, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
like if it's a path that I haven't gone down before, but it's available, then it's interesting to me. Like, who, okay, this
Wow.
is something I haven't tried. Let's try this. And so I think it was kind of more like that, because all the whole time it was, if it doesn't happen and I can't do it, then it's fine. But let's just try. Let's just see. And that's how I feel like I go into a lot of things, is like, what's this about? Let's try this.
I think Mayume and I are thinking about that, right? Like you're talking about your life and your experience and how this was born inside you, how you became a light worker. And you're now you get to look back retrospectively at your chart, right? And so I
Right.
think that's where Mayume and I are kind of really fascinated because it's kind of validating all of those things and those experiences that you've been through. And I know that's kind of how we felt when we got our charts read by you.
Yeah,
That we felt really
absolutely.
validated, like, wow, this is like answering a lot of those questions of why I am the way I am, or how this works. Yeah.
Well, the second one of my chart, the second chart for me
Yep.
resonated way more than the
Yep.
first one. And we want to talk about that because that made a
Yeah.
huge difference. And little did we know, my birth time actually changed my chart in a way. And so I think it was like a 20-minute difference. And so you had asked me beforehand, hey, Ma'am, how certain are you about your birth time? And hello is a village in Vietnam, so I'm not that certain. This is what my birth certificate says, but it was such a weird, it was like a 10:30 p.m. Kind of number, and so it made sense. It could have been anywhere kind of in that around that time, because you said there's a significant difference, right? I think
Was
you
it
said if it
earlier
was
or later? Man, was it
earlier.
early? It was earlier. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. I was just curious that 20 minutes earlier actually made that big of a difference in your chart?
Huge,
Yes.
huge difference.
Wow. Isn't that
Yeah.
nuts?
And because remember when
Hmm.
she was delivering the information in our class there, there was
Hmm.
so much of it. I was like, God, that
I
stuff
remember that.
doesn't sound like me. There was a lot that did sound like me. I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
could take that. But that initial one, like waiting
Hmm.
for invitation, sit back and observe. I was like, that's not me. Like, so I thought
Yeah.
that's so interesting. And then I came from a place of, well, I guess maybe they can get things wrong, or maybe I just changed, or I don't know. So then it kind of, having it not make those connections in those big areas, like some other things made sense, didn't really validate it for me. Because then I left feeling, well, that was interesting. But when we redid it and you came back and said, Mayum, and you came after me actually and said, I really think this is because we did a reading one on one. And then I was like, oh my God,
Isn't
all of
that
it
amazing?
made
I
so
Yeah.
much
love that.
sense.
But that says a lot about you, Emily, right? Like that you,
Yes.
as at this, I mean, I'm going to call you like a spiritual practitioner, even though this is quantum design and there's a lot of,
Hmm. Sure.
science and stuff. I think that's that beautiful intuition piece from you, Emily, that you bring. I mean, people get certified in all kinds of things, right? But I think that's why we really wanted to showcase you, Emily, is that you took the situation with Mayum and said, my intuition and her intuition are saying something is not quite right. Let's look outside the box. Let's be creative about this. And you solve the problem. So I just wanted to like that is why you got to see Emily.
Yes.
And not somebody else who
I
does. Do
mean,
you know what I mean? That's
and I
like
hope
that's
that
part of what we
helps
want to do,
you.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I do want to help you with knowing that you knew me though, so that also
Yeah.
flagged,
Yeah, so
so
well, what flagged the very first is that it said 10:30. And it's just so rare that I get a birth time that is like 10:30 on the dot or 11 o'clock on the dot. That's just rare that I see that. I mean, it definitely happens. And so as soon as I saw that, I thought, okay, well, maybe so. So then I ran your chart. And since I do know you, I was looking at it and I thought, wow, this does not feel like Mayum to me.
Hilarious. I love
But
that.
maybe it is, and I just there no because there are parts of
Sure.
everybody that we don't know,
yeah,
For
obviously.
sure.
So that's when I texted you to say, how sure are you about your birth time? And then you said, well, I mean, it's what's on my birth certificate. And so I thought, well, we're just going to go with it. We're going to
yeah,
roll with it. So we did. And then when you said, this part I just don't resonate with, I thought, you know what? I don't think this birth time is right. So then I got on and
Love
just
that.
probably from the time, what's interesting is that the software that I use, from the time that I first ran your chart till then, this day that I'm now looking at it again, they had rolled out a new feature that I could scroll through and just easily see like how the chart changes within a
Yeah.
12-hour period. Where used
Wow.
to I would have to put in the exact time and then I would have to just keep
Ah.
changing it and put in the time.
Oh,
So then
wow.
that I could see exactly how it changed, I thought, oh my gosh,
Wow.
20 minutes earlier. I think it's actually like 17 minutes earlier is when it
Mm,
changes for you.
got it.
Um,
That's my
so
number.
then, yeah, and so then
Love
I
it.
just thought, I bet we just had, and like you said, when you said that it was a small village in Vietnam, I thought easily
Oh,
it
I'm
could
yeah.
have,
sure.
the person thought it's around 10:30 and they write that
Yeah,
down,
and it
you
was a
know?
nurse and it was a mess and nobody knew anything. So I think they just like, threw
Just
it
yeah,
down.
here's the
Yeah.
time. So, but what I
Yeah.
love is that I really feel like these types of experiences we then learn from, because then from having that be with you, then now every single chart I scroll through and see, are there any big changes in this
That's
chart
awesome.
anywhere around here? And if I see that there are, then I contact the person to say, hey, how sure of you of this are you of this birth time? Because if you're born 45 minutes earlier or 20 minutes later, there's a massive change in your chart. And I just want to be sure that we have the
Yeah.
right birth
I
time.
love that, Emily.
So that has been really helpful in
Yeah. I'm
because
so
I really want
glad.
to give people, yeah, I want to give, so that was very helpful for me. So thank you. That was a good learning
I
experience.
love
And so,
that.
and then we had it, and I found out I was an emotional manifester, which
Hmm.
totally makes
Makes
sense.
sense.
Oh my
Hmm.
god,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting. I know with mine, I don't have my time of birth either. I just know that it was 7 p.m. And so mine is a lot like Mayum in that I didn't have the exact time at all. But maybe that there was not a lot of variances, like you were saying, between like 20 minutes or an hour or 3 or 4 or 5. Like maybe just the way my timing was, it because it really did fit me. I mean, there's a lot of pieces I mean, it's a lot of information. So when you do book your session, Lightworkers with Emily, just be prepared. There's a lot of information that I am still processing, and I've had this for quite some time now, and I still am like trying to understand a lot of it. And that's where you're such a good guide in kind
Oh,
of
thank
helping
you.
us understand. But
And I
I,
highly
my,
recommend 90 minutes too, by the way.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's very helpful. Yeah. And then you get a
yes.
lot of really great written information with this as well, which I think is really, it really taps into my like science nerd scientist brain. I think that's what I really love about the process is I am deeply entrenched in science. And so there are kind of these really interesting scientific pieces to it and psychology, which I really gravitate to that. But then of course all the woo-woo shit too is like, oh my God. It's like a beautiful blend of those things for me. And I mean, I just looked at my chart and I was like, I have it kind of in front of me now. But it is, I guess I'm a pure manifesting generator, which I'm not, I'm still learning about what all of that is. But all the channels and all of the ways that all of your different chakras are kind of talking to each other also, I think, is really important because it helps you understand why you are the way you are in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah.
So fun.
I just have to say really quick so that people, because my relationship with Emily goes way back to a painting party when I first met you, that I was hosting, facilitating, and I'll never forget this because it stood out. We're at this long table and you had leaned all the way in, like at the table, and your eyes were like looking at me like
Yes.
this, like, what? What?
Yes.
What? You were so like, what is happening? What is happening? What's going on? You were asking all these questions. It was so
Yes.
cute. And I felt like, oh gosh, I hope I'm not freaking you out right now. But you were
No,
like absorbing
oh,
it
I mean,
all.
ma'am,
I
yes, I
exactly. That's
like
what
new
I'm
things.
saying.
I like, honestly, that painting party, this was in 2019, and that painting party you did, I almost didn't go to because I don't paint. I don't enjoy painting, but a friend was having it, so I was going to be supportive for her, but I almost backed out that day because I thought, oh, I'm just going to go paint and then realize how much I don't like painting. But then I'll never forget, I walked in and Mayum, you looked at me and you said, you were meant to be here today. And I
Oh,
don't know if you said
good.
that to everybody, but
Oh,
you definitely
No,
said
I
that to
don't say
me.
that to everybody.
oh, I
And
Not
love
now.
that.
and
Wow.
as soon as you said that, I felt it. And then I didn't even pay attention to the painting. I barely did it. It
Because
was
you're
like
not
chicken
really supposed
scratch.
to. Yeah.
You're right. Because I was just paying attention to you. And I will say that you are definitely a huge part of then the larger part of my awakening that really then started in 2019 and has continued through.
Yeah,
So,
and you were part of my meditations in my home before
mhm,
2020. She would come
yep,
over at my silent entrance. I had 10 women in there and all
yeah,
meditating, and you were part of that group. And so I look back at that little, I mean, I felt like I witnessed your awakening, even though
you
you've
did.
already tapped into this, but all of a sudden you're
Yeah,
like, boom, and you were there.
yes.
And the next thing you walked into Kindred Healing, and I was like, what are you doing here when I was facilitating the networking? And I'm like, I haven't seen you in years,
Years. Hmm.
out of the
Yeah,
blue. And here in walks Emily Brown. And now look, I mean, I'm
It's
so
such a great story of light workers,
excited.
right? Like this is
Yes,
like
that's
like light workers and
exactly.
unite. This is our
yes,
mission,
Oh,
right? Is to
yes,
really bring people into their power and then showcase that and reconnecting people because
yep,
I'm
now you're
just
connected. I mean, I
so,
got to meet you, which was super fun. And I do
so
remember
proud
you
of
said
you.
our charts are really similar, yours
yeah,
and mine.
yours and mine. Hmm.
And I thought that was really interesting because I remember you had mentioned like, "Oh, I just really like, you make connections with people." And
Right.
then you were like, "Oh, now I know why," because our charts were very similar. I thought that was hilarious
Yeah,
that, you this is how we connect with each other, you know?
right.
So, I love, love, love
Yeah,
that you are
Emily, you're
now
just
part of our community.
you are, and I'm so damn not just proud that I don't want to make it sound like I'm proud of you, but I am. I mean, I'm proud that you took something and then you kept looking
Yes.
and searching. And it sounds like that's who you are too. Like learning. You're probably like drinking out of a fire hose at this time. Like I need to take it all in, and
Yes.
and then you landed here, and now look at once you got in alignment with who you truly are, you're like taking off, and it's fantastic. And I want more people to really connect, and we want to bring so many people to you because you really change people's lives and the way they look at things. And I think it's kind of a nice buffer, like maybe kind of like the painting is a buffer for people in mediumship, right? They don't know what's going on. I think human design allows people, because of the science factor of it, to like, okay, I'm kind of curious, I want to listen to this, where they can accept the woo woo part of it too.
It's like a bridge, right? For me, it's
Right.
like one of those
Exactly. Thank you, my
those
sister.
bridges,
It
yeah,
is.
to bring people
Hmm.
into, like, all those different dimensions, and that's what I think I love. That's why I love the word quantum, it feels very
Hmm.
Yes.
multidimensional. It uses astrology as well. I
Hmm.
is that
The
is can you tell
houses
us a
and
little
stuff.
bit
Hmm.
about that?
Yeah, the
Like
houses.
Yes. Yeah. So you have 64 gates in your human design, which are kind of like your key characteristics of your personality or whatever. And those are then where specific planets are when you're born. So it brings in like the sun is in a specific gate, the moon is in a specific gate. And then that gate is like almost like a personality trait for you, like kind of how it manifests in your chart. And so that's where it brings in the astrology part. And then you have different gates in your chart that connect to different energy centers through these channels. And that's kind of how the energy moves within the chart. And the energy centers are more like similar to the Hindu chakra system. So, where you in the chakra system, you have like the crown, the third eye, the throat. Here it's more like the head. We call it the ajna, still the throat. And so it's really lovely because then you see where perfect example is like if someone has we're just going to say if someone has what's called an open head, it just means that they maybe like your head is more for ideas, inspiration, where you ask questions. Your head's not really supposed to be a decision making center. It's supposed to be more of just like this is where I get ideas from, or I get inspiration, how I know like what questions to ask. And so if you're a person that has an open head center, that just means that you consistently are getting your ideas and inspiration from being out in the world and around other people. And so each of the energy centers have different ways that you feel that energy in those centers. And then when you're in relationship with others, I've been doing a lot of connection charts lately for husbands and wives of just how their energy then, once they are together, how that energy connects, where one person may amplify the other person's energy. I think it's really helpful, especially when you talk about emotions and fears, to understand where maybe this isn't my emotion, but I'm amplifying my spouse's emotion or my child's emotion, or this isn't my fear, but when I go to work, I realize I'm amplifying this fear from a person that I work with. And so understanding what are your emotions, what are your fears, and then working through those or just understanding it better, I just find that life is easier. It's like just having a curriculum that you understand about your own self.
When you were describing that, the blueprint, the curriculum, there was a part of me that was kept hearing like the soul contract, so the soul is like, hey, I'm going to come down, I'm going to be Mayum, and this is my mom, this is my dad, and these are the things that I'm going to learn and lessons and blah, 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 right? This agreement. And so in a way, it feels like I kind of like the design, the human design aspect that connects with the soul agreement. So then you have this plan or chart or I think it's fascinating. I really love it. And I want to know, I keep wanting to like dive deeper into me. And then I'm like,
Right.
oh, maybe I should find out about my husband, John Corelli, like what's going on with him, because it might be really helpful. And I think, do you find with couples when you say this, are men open to it, or have you had any resistance? And how do you handle resistance for people?
I've done them two different ways. I feel like because I shouldn't say obviously, but more times than not, it is the wife who is interested in having the connection chart. If the husband's not open to it at all, then I just say, okay, then I do like to have permission to use the to pull someone's chart. So I just say, okay, if they're not open to being in the session, then just ask if it's okay that I pull their chart so I can do a session for you where you can at least understand their energy. Because I feel like if at least one person in the relationship understands both people's energy, then maybe if she understands her husband better, she understands how to present the information to him in a way that he will be able to understand it or take it in easier.
Well,
So, for
and also
example,
manage his energy, right? Like if you
right,
know someone else's energy, you can kind of proactively go, "Oh, this is his
exactly.
response. I'm going to modify myself."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because the very first chart I pulled after mine was my husband's. Because my husband and I look at things from such different
I love
perspectives. Like
that.
we come at everything from complete opposites. And so it's like, I need to understand him better. Because we can only see things from the perspective that we have. And so when I pulled his chart then and I could see, oh, this is the reason why he is very headstrong in this area. This is the reason why he goes so deep into research into things. Like all of that was in his chart. And once I understood that, I just had so much grace for him and for the things that maybe at one point were kind of frustrating to me. I realized, oh, I need to look at this differently because that thing that I find is a little frustrating is also what makes him have such strong character, have such strong integrity. And so, yeah, I think that that is definitely. I've done sessions where I'm just with the women and giving them the connection chart. But I just did one last week where it was a husband and a spouse, and the spouse was like he was very interested in it, and even said like when I finished, he looked at his wife and said, "I want our son to have this. Like let's get a reading for our son." So,
I love that.
To help you understand them. So I love that.
mhm,
So what we're kind of saying here is your ideal clients are really everybody.
Yeah,
Young
yeah,
people,
hmm
exactly.
couples,
hmm
singles, right? Like
Yep.
anybody who
Moms who wanna
moms.
understand their young children.
Yeah.
I will do readings for to understand your child better at age starting at age 7 and up, because starting at age 7 is where they really, like children are starting to really they're embodying their chart, like, they're kind of knowing who they are, but they haven't been as conditioned. So then you can like, oh my gosh, talking to a mom with a 7-year-old who hasn't been super conditioned yet, it's like, "Hey, here's what their chart says. Now you can parent based on that."
I
Because like
love
my two
it.
children, learning my two children, they are very, very different. And I obviously could tell that as a parent, and I would parent them differently. But there were certain areas where I just didn't understand how, like, I'm parenting them how I think it needs to be, but it's just kind of based on my intuition. And then once I saw their chart, I really understood what they each needed, and they need very different things from me. So that was nice to see.
Is that part of the channels? Is that like part of the channels? Like when you 'cause so in your design, you have this section in there that's like all the channels that you are.
hmm
Can you tell
hmm
us about those?
So
Just generally without getting
sure.
maybe too.
So the channels are really how like your different energy centers are connected. So like let's say that the gate from your sun is connected to your sacral, and then like a gate from your, I don't know, moon is connected to your spleen, and those two pair up and then they're connected, and the energy then goes through that. So it's more like you'll have some people who have a lot of channels. Like I remember, Manjeet, I told you, you have more channels than anyone I've ever done a reading for. Um, but then I have some people who only have one channel, and there are other people who don't have any channels. And so it is really just then about how you experience the energy, how you're feeling that energy. And I feel like I've heard some people say, because I've had a couple people come to me and say that they've had human design readings and they felt like their reading was basically telling them your life is hard, like everything in your chart is hard. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with good or bad. I don't believe that your chart is a diagnosis. I believe that is a curriculum. And so when you look at the chart, is just how is the best way for you to experience that energy. So for some people it is, you need to be alone and resting, and you need to have a lot of quiet time to yourself. That are other people that's like, hey, you need to interact with your network a lot. This is because so much of what happens for you and where your resources come from is from your network and socializing. So it's really just about how you designed it, and not about, oh, mine's good or bad. Because I feel like a chart is just neutral. A chart is completely neutral. A chart is not good or bad. It is how then you look at it and then choose to live it. Because you can live it in a very high expression, or you can live it in a low expression.
I agree.
So,
I love that, and that's one of the
Hmm.
things that why I think people are really gonna enjoy their session with you, Emily,
oh,
because
thanks.
you do have that perspective, right? You have that ability, and it's just like, I mean, it's just Mayum and I talk about this all the time. It's just like coaching. It's just like mediumship. It is the lens that we look at things, that we can deliver information or present new different ideas, whether it is in a positive light or a negative light, even messages that you were getting from spirit or from, your intuition or in the Akashic records, or I'm a lot of the time in, it really is about that perspective, like how you want to actually present that information. That's what I think I really admire about you in this world.
What I started doing from the very beginning is, as soon as I pull up somebody's chart, I sit down and I just take 5 minutes to ground and to try to connect to their higher self, and just ask their higher self, like, because like you said, Mayum, it's so much information. It is so much information. And so, I mean, I could do a reading for someone for probably 10 hours and we still wouldn't cover everything, you know?
I know.
And
I
so
mean, I
then
wanted to
when
keep
I
going, keep going, keep going.
I know exactly. I'm like, what and what? I do
yeah, and more.
what?
But I
I
try
love
to
it.
connect to their higher self and just say, okay, like, lead me to what is information that they need right now. Just what does this person
Yes.
need to hear to help them
That's
in this
brilliant.
time right now? And then I go back to the chart, and just whatever starts popping out to me as like, oh, this is interesting, then that's what I just start. And I type up everything, and then yeah, and then we go through the reading, and I give them what I was given as what's the most important for them to hear right now.
Which is great, using your intuition, those intuitive abilities of like, okay. And I think that's important, because I think that's on purpose. I think you are being led with your guides and spirit saying this, because their guides and spirit are coming to say, okay, Mayum needs to hear this, Emily. So, and you're sensing that, picking it up, and we come together, and then you deliver. And I love it, because again, getting into what Manjeet says, staying in that positive space too, because we could obviously elicit fear very easily, saying, "Ooh, you had a hard time, in this part of your life, and it looks like that might happen again when you reach
Yeah.
like in your 60s." I
Jeez.
mean, someone could be like, "Excuse me, what?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. It's
So,
devastating. It's
y-
devastating. Like
Yeah.
yes.
that kind of a reading, it can really change somebody's life. And I
Hmm.
love that you're taking this with real sincerity and understanding this is powerful. And the delivery is just as important as
Just
the
as
message.
powerful. Yeah.
The
And you come
delivery
from
is
integrity, so I
everything.
love that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
love that.
Thanks.
How are you feeling
Okay. Yeah.
about a
Let's do
quick
this.
little reading from Mayim
Yes,
and Manjeet? Yeah.
I would love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. We've got our Lightworkers Unite Oracle cards.
Yes.
And then, yeah, we will,
Continue.
each of us will pull a card for you, and whatever you need right now today, Miss
Yeah.
Okay.
Emily. Okay.
Are you
I
open? We have your permission, Miss Emily.
Yeah.
Yes,
You want to go
absolutely.
first, Madge? You can go first.
Okay. All right. Let's see what is in
Can
her
hear the shard
highest register.
the shards shuffling. Did you hear me? The shards are cuffling. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Mm.
Yes. Oh, where are my glasses? Okay. Are you ready, Miss Emily?
I'm ready.
Um, it's part of the creative series. It's a 29 and it's beauty. It's a beautiful card. It says, "Beauty is within us and all around us, and behold the beauty not seen before." So, this is from our Oracle
Oh, that is a pretty
cards.
card.
Mm,
Yeah. So, I just have to say, I mean, this is you, right?
Mm,
yeah,
This
look
is
at you.
absolutely you.
Stepping
It
thank you.
is
into your power.
it's a 29 which is an 11, right? Which is the goddess dimension. That's what I call the goddess realm. And so to me this is connecting you with your goddess energy.
Mm,
That this is a really beautiful divine feminine power that you have, and it's not just about, I mean, you're obviously very beautiful. I mean, you have a very beautiful
Stunning.
presence.
Yes.
She really is.
thank you.
She's tall too. Like, it's really
I
fucking
know. She's a
annoying.
tall drink
I
of
know.
water, everyone.
I know. It's just tall, blonde, super
Jeez.
cute, really
Yeah.
thin, love it. But I really think that this is like really invoking this goddess energy within you that is bringing
Mm,
out the beauty within everybody that you meet.
thank you.
You have
Thank
this
you.
really powerful ability to do that, and I just love that this card came up for you. So it's time for you to really own that shit.
Thank you. I appreciate that because that's what I feel. I've told people this before. When I do a reading for somebody, I fall in love with them. Like no matter who I do a reading for, I'm
I'm
going to
the
fall in love
same.
with you
Yes.
because everyone's soul is so beautiful. And so I
Mhm.
want them then to fall in love with themselves the way I'm falling in love with them, you know?
Oh,
How
Emily, that's
beautiful!
so
How
sweet. My
beautiful is
God.
that?
I know
Mm,
it's so
It's
true. I
it
love
just
that.
it's just your essence, and I
It
just
is.
thank you.
love that you got that card,
I love that too.
sister.
Okay.
All
You're going
right,
to really
ma'am.
like this card. Here we go.
Okay.
You have Archangel. Of course, I would put an angel card.
Oh,
Oh,
Archangel
okay.
Metatron.
Yes, I do like
Okay.
this.
Okay. I don't know if you can read that there. Call upon Metatron to assist you in stretching or shortening time, for time is only an illusion. But when this card came through, when I saw it, and I took a little peek, like, ooh, what do we got here? I was like,
Yeah.
of course, and of course, working with angels, of course, but Metatron's about timing, right?
Mm,
And Manjeet works with Metatron. She knows.
a lot.
This to me
Yeah.
was a validation of you are right on time, my
mm,
sister. You're not behind. This is all divine timing to come into this work that you're doing, and the souls that you're connecting with, the souls that you are helping on their journey.
mm.
This is where Archangel Metatron is saying you are right on time. So I don't know if you've worried about any of that. Did I start too late? How long can I go? I don't know. It just feels like
Mhm.
that you're not behind, is what I keep wanting to say to you.
Yeah, I feel like I've just realized that within the last couple of months. And one of the things that I keep telling so it's funny that you pull Metatron because just last week I put a Metatron screensaver as the wallpaper on my phone to pick it
Love
up and
it.
look at every time.
Hello.
And that just last week. Um,
I
but
love
it
him.
just has become recently that I realize like the time like there's plenty of time for everything. There's plenty of time to do whatever I need to do, whatever I want to do. Everything's going to be in my own timing. If I see other people doing things faster, that's great for them, but that is not mine. Like my
Yeah.
timing is my timing. And so I
Yes.
just like within the last 2 to 3 months have really started feeling that. So thank you. That was very
This is
very
a
time like
validation. Yeah.
yeah, very good validation. Perfect
Well,
timing.
Metatron
Absolutely.
is also multidimensional. So it
Mm,
might be part of the introduction for you to being you are with quantum design and blueprinting.
mhm,
That's very, very multidimensional. And so he wants to work with you in those
mm,
other realms. That's why he's calling you forward, and that's why you're getting the hit. But he
okay.
that this is all about multidimensionalism and quantum design. I mean, holy shit. Your clients need you to do
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
Keep
Love
calling
it.
on
Thank
Metatron.
you.
So he's just validating that he's with you.
Yes.
We're with you. We're going to bring so many more people to be with you. I just really, really adore you and just
Same.
just
Yeah,
madly in love with you. I mean, and
I
all that
Same.
you're doing.
know.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Same with
are
both of you.
so
Yeah.
loving. Yes, I just got the pleasure of meeting you, so I am so
Yeah.
excited for, you know, falling in love with you as well. This has been so, so beautiful.
Yeah.
We want to
Thank you
thank
for
you from the
being
bottom
here.
of our hearts for being
Yes.
here, and thank you
Thank you.
again for the
Yes.
kerfuffling in the beginning. But
Yeah.
wow,
Yes. Thank you for your patience.
Metatron
Yeah.
helped us out there, I think.
Yeah, I guess still
I
we're
love it.
on time. Everything's on time.
I love it.
Where
Oh,
can people find you, Miss Emily
Okay,
Brown?
so my website to book sessions is just vividsoulsessions.com. And then on Instagram, just also Vivid Soul Sessions. So,
yeah. So find her, love her, like her. You're gonna just find your own beauty
That's
with her
right.
too.
That's right.
So
And you can listen to this podcast on any podcast platform. We also our server is Podbean. So if you want to find us on Podbean, come join us on Instagram and our YouTube channel also at Lightworkers
yeah,
Unite podcast, so that you can watch this podcast and social show with Emily Brown.
because we're
Show.
super cute. I mean, you gotta see us. It's so
and
fun.
fun. And
I
fun.
know.
I
Fun.
love
Oh, we're
watching your show.
good. Okay. Well,
Yay!
we
Thanks for
love
being
you.
here. We
Thank you
love
for
you. Thank you
listening.
so much.
Mwah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
All our
you.
love. Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for sharing this sacred space with us on Lightworkers Unite.
Remember, your light matters, your presence matters, and your journey is unfolding exactly as it should.
If today's episode stirred something in your heart, trust that it was meant for you.
From our hearts to yours,
May your path be lit.
your spirit strong, and your light be seen.
This podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only.
The content shared is not intended to replace professional, medical, psychological, legal, or financial advice.
Always seek the guidance of qualified professionals regarding your personal situation.
Thank you.